This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your mower off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Man, that intro get me so hyped, man. We about to hit that one more time, man. Hit that mug one more time. Yes, sir. What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Shouts out to everybody in the chat right now. Shouts out to everybody that's filing in. Go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for spending your evening with yours truly. If you're watching this in the evening on a Tuesday night, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. On this edition, we're going to be talking about, man, football is back. It's officially back. The New Orleans Saints rookies have reported for training camp, and we all know what that means. We all know what that means. That means football is back. It's back, man. The rookies reported this week. The veterans report next week. It is on like 8-day-old neck bones. I am so excited. It's been a minute, and we all know that this time of year is pretty damn boring. It's pretty boring, man. Not much is going on. If you're not a baseball fan, you're basically watching paint dry. You're trying to find something to do with your Sundays, but sooner rather than later, your Sundays are going to be filled with excitement and on the edge of your seat entertainment, that is from the National Football League. And I'm excited about it. The rookies have reported, man, this is going to be a very good year. You look at the rookies that the New Orleans Saints have, and how in the world can't you be excited about some of the talent that these guys have accumulated via the NFL draft, via undrafted free agency, and also the storylines from veterans galore. We have Jameis Winston. It just came out that Jameis Winston is going to be cleared for training camp. That's great news. And it's more than likely that Michael Thomas will be cleared for training camp. Now, this comes from Ian Rappaport, and Ian Rappaport, as of late, has not been batting 1,000. He put out a article about J.K. Dobbins, and J.K. Dobbins retracted the statement, said that I don't know who you're getting this from, but you might want to check your sources. And then he doubled down for some apparent reason. He doubled down. How are you going to speak against the guy that you're actually reporting the story about? Okay. If this dude is telling you that he's going to be ready and how his body feels, how are you going to retract the statement? I mean, I just don't understand that. That's when you just so full of yourself and you just take yourself way too seriously. But nevertheless, football is back. And Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas more than likely are going to be at training camp. And those were two of the guys that the New Orleans Saints were really looking at. You know, Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback. There is no Taysom Hill. Oh, thank goodness. Taysom Hill versus Jameis Winston debate. Competition. We ain't got to worry about that. Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Now the New Orleans Saints can allow this guy to get the majority of the reps, get timing with the wide receivers. You have to love what Jameis Winston is doing. Rather you're a big Jameis Winston fan or not, rather you're one of those people that's folding your arms and just huffing and puffing every time you see Jameis Winston on your screen because you just don't like him, too bad, okay? Because the guy is doing way too much good when it comes to trying to get chemistry with his teammates, trying to get guys on the same page. I will say this, though. I understand that this guy is rehabbing, but I just wonder, like, why have I seen guys like Jarvis? Why have I seen guys like Chris? But I don't really see Michael Thomas, like, really out there. You know, every time I see Michael Thomas, putting up footage, he's running routes, in a backyard. I guess that's his home out there in California. You know, I'm seeing that, and that's cool. And it's great that he seemed like he planting and doing all the things that you need to do to be successful as a wide receiver. But I would like to see Michael Thomas interact with his teammates a little bit more. I'm not really big on transparency, but damn. I mean, can we at least get you standing next to your teammates? I mean, I just don't understand it. I want to see if the chemistry between he and Jameis Winston is where it needs to be. I'm pretty sure behind the scenes, these guys are working. He's probably not in front of the camera. He's probably not out there on the field, but in close quarters, he's probably working alongside Jameis Winston, which I can appreciate. But dang, can we get a little bit of camaraderie when it comes to the wide receiver room? I feel like everybody else has it. You see Callaway, you see Traquan. I even seen Jarvis. I see Chris Olave. I see Kwame Baker out there. So I see all these young guys that are hungry. And, it would be good to see, Michael Thomas out there at least out there, like some moral support, catching a couple passes from him, to get, people just, thinking they're going to be on the same page. But, I mean, I'll digress. Big storylines. I'll tell you my big storylines, and then I'll go to the chat. My big storylines has to be, number one, the safety position. Marcus May, replacing Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams goes to the Baltimore Ravens. I want to say $72 million. Congratulations to him. And if you follow him on social media, the brother is living his best life. But, the safety position is very important. I mean, you lose Marcus Williams. Malcolm Jenkins retires. Alontae Taylor, the rookie out of Tennessee, he comes in alongside Marcus May. Even though Alontae is more than likely going to be playing cornerback and safety, he's probably going to be mixing in between. You got P.J. Williams back there. Feel like he found his calling at the safety position. And you also have guys like Paulson Adebo going into his second season. You have guys like Marshawn Lattimore, who is finally getting his comeuppance, finally getting his just due as one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. According to some rankings, they have him as the second best cornerback in the league. It's about time that they finally woke up and realized how special this dude actually is at the cornerback position. But the safety position is something that I'm looking at very, very closely. Who is going to be able to come out there? Also, you got to mention Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. We all know what he is, multi-time All-Pro, and he's playing at home, which we all are excited about. But I want to see how this thing is going to come together for them to develop chemistry going into the regular season. Another intriguing storyline when it comes to training camp. would be the tight end position. I'm very invested in that. Shouts out to my guy RP3 Raymond Parks III. You can check him out every morning on 103.7 The Game. I think he's on vacation this week, so I hope you're having a good time, buddy. But I talked about the tight end position, and I talked about how I just feel like they don't have enough at that position. I am not satisfied with the tight end position. I understand that Adam Troutman, we need to give him another chance. We got Nick Barnett out there. We gave him a little bit of change. And Dwayne Johnson, who transitioned from wide receiver to tight end last season, did a pretty good job in the red zone. And then you add Taysom Hill, who is going to probably add the tight end position on top of some of the other things the Saints are going to want him to do. But there's nobody out there that I just feel confident in. And I really have seen Jameis Winston throughout his career really do really good things with tight ends. So I don't understand why the Saints don't make that a priority. I mean, you still got some guys out there that can, that can catch that football, at the tight end position. But it just seems like the Saints are content at going into training camp with what they have. Maybe they got a guy that's been stepping up. Maybe it's guys that they're trying to see that's young, and maybe they showed them a little something dealing with the rookies, and maybe showing them a little something working with some veterans. So now they want to see these guys go out there and training camp to see if they actually have something before they decide to move towards free agency. But I'm just not satisfied with the tight end position. I think that if you have really good tight ends or solid tight end play, I think that it helps your offense, especially in third down situations when you need a big guy in the middle that can move the chains. Also, don't in a red zone, guys that can do some things, big body guys that can get those 50-50 balls and also be able to block, when it comes to those jumbo packages during goal line. You need a guy like that. And to me, I don't think the New Orleans Saints have that. I mean, I could be wrong, and I hope that I am wrong, but I have not seen enough out of the tight end position. Another position, and this would be probably be the final one, would be the linebacker position. I've been hearing people, talk about Quan Alexander. Quan Alexander even wants to come back to New Orleans Saints. If you have been following him on Twitter, I mean, he said that they sleeping. That was his quote. They sleep. Okay. I guess it's saying that maybe they need to wake up and realize that, I'm pretty doggone good. Look, P. Warner is going to be the weak side linebacker. I mean, that goes without saying. Then you got the Mario Davis, the man in the middle, move all around. But to me, you think about guys like Caden Ellis. You think about guys like, the rookie Jackson out of Appalachian State. You think about guys like that. They're young. Guys that have promise. Andrew Dow is another guy who I feel like is more of a special teams, even though I feel that he did show some promise before he was injured. But the Saints need to know what they have at the linebacker position. I feel like I don't think they have the depth that I'm looking for. Caden Ellis, he showed some promise. He did some good things, but he's always hurt. I mean, he played pretty well last season. He was involved in some plays. He made some plays, but he got injured, just like he has throughout his entire NFL career. So the Saints, I feel like they need to build depth at that position, and I don't feel like it will hurt to bring in Quan Alexander. Quan Alexander has been out there on the street, so it's not like you about to pay top dollar for him. No disrespect. I mean, that's just a business. Quan Alexander, does he deserve top dollar as far as his play? Yes, but I think people take into account his history of being injured. But he is a guy who fits this team very well. As soon as he came in, he was instantly a fan favorite. He was a good teammate, one of the favorites on the team. So it would be good to actually see him come back, in training camp, and one of those other guys beat him out. Then you deal with it accordingly. But I really just feel like they're a little bit thin at that position. But those are the storylines that I'm looking for. Of course, some of the stuff you probably already heard if you've been following the State of the Saints podcast as of late. I've been mentioning this, but the rookies have reported offensive line play, of course, but we'll get into a little bit later in the show. Thank you for the 88 or 89 people that's watching this live right now. I ask that you hit the like button if you enjoy the content. If you want to donate to the State of the Saints podcast, you can hit that super chat. for donations. And if you don't want to donate, you can still feel free to put your comments down there for those that may not know and that are new to the show. So let's get into the chat. All right. Also, while I'm looking at these comments, thank you to everybody that checked out the Therapy Couch podcast. Episode number 3. I had a special guest, Tori, my colleague from 90.9 FM. She was on the show. It was pretty good today. So if you haven't checked it out, it's available right now. TJ, arrogance is rampant amongst your peers. Well, what are we talking about here, Keno? I mean, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with something I said earlier, because I backed up a little bit. I don't know exactly what you're saying, so elaborate on that, man. I said quite a bit in the last 16 minutes that the show started, so please elaborate on that. I'm pretty sure it probably had something to do with Ian Rappaport. I'm not sure. Let's go to Rose City. He says upset because Eddie Goldman thought hard about playing for the Falcons, but said, nah, son, and retired instead. Hilarious. Are you ready for the season? Absolutely, man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. I know y'all can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot. Like, I'm extremely excited for this, man. I love football. Man, football is a magical sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what's going on in society. I don't care what's going on in the world. There's nothing like the game of football. It can take you away from anything that's going on in your life. I mean, it brings people together. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are part of the same group, fan base, don't care what your religion is, no matter what your color is, it brings you together, right? You're cheering for your team. You're rooting for them for success. There's nothing like it. And around this time of year, I always get excited, man, because I just love football. And I love doing what I'm doing right now, man. I love doing this podcast. Like, this is the 5th year of this podcast, man. We close to 10,000 subscribers. We have built this podcast from the ground up. And my goodness, man, it is a pleasure to do this podcast every single time I do it. So, yes, I am excited about football, and I'm definitely excited about bringing the State of Saints podcast into a 5th NFL season. I'm excited about that. I'm so ready. I'm here, TJ. Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate that. Man, shouts out to Tyrone, man. Nate says he's still rehabbing. Got to make sure he's healthy before he can run with the squad again. Nate, that's a good point. I think that shouts out to Dr. Morris, man. Dr. Jesse Morris. I'm going to get him back on the show, man. Dr. Jesse, if you're watching this, man, I got to get you back on the show. He talked about that. He talked about some of the precautions and some of the decisions that Michael Thomas made before he decided to get surgery, like the time where he was trying to rehab it instead of trying to go under the knife, and it could have like built up arthritis, or it could have made the situation worse. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's what happened. I can't say it didn't happen because, you know, there's like, this has been one of the most close to the vest situations I have ever seen, like as far as injury. Like, normally when a guy is injured, you kind of know where they stand. I don't care if it's so devastating, if it's a devastating injury, if it's not so devastating, you kind of know where they stand. But this, over the last 18 months, has been one heck of a head scratcher. I mean, even like some of the closest insiders to the team can't really tell you what's going on with the dude like that. I just don't know. But I do believe more and more that he did something to his ankle, like really, really serious, like really, really serious, by not getting that surgery right then and there. Because, like I said, Dr. Morris, he talked about that. And like I said, if you have not seen the interview that I did with Dr. Morris, please check it out. But he talked about, you know, when guys try to rehab injuries that should you should have surgery because of the injury. Guys end up, developing lingering issues like arthritis, or, you might build up, like something inside of your ankle that might cause you to really have severe pain in the future or could possibly mess it up for good. So the more I think about it, the more I feel like he did something to his ankle that really, caused him to really set back, like something very, very dangerous, like something that's like career threatening dangerous. Because there's no way a guy's going to go this long without, without hitting the field and nothing really serious going on. I'm not buying it, but I just hope everything pans out, because when you start, you no longer really think about guys as football players. You start thinking about guys as human beings, right? Shouts out to Coach Prime Deion Sanders, man. He had to get his toes amputated, because of a foot injury, a lingering injury. And, he had for years. It kind of caught up with him, and now Coach Prime, got his toes amputated. So, man, these guys go through a lot, man, to get on the field. And I know we give them a hard time and we get frustrated, but they are human beings at the end of the day. So that's one thing that we have to consider. So shouts out to him, man. I hope he comes back 100%. He looks really good. He looks explosive. He looks like his old self, in my opinion. So, hot take. I'm betting the roster and the coaching staff wanted Sean to draft and acquire better players in the past, but he chose otherwise due to his arrogance. TJ, do you agree? Look, that's some food for thought. I'm gonna come back to that one, Keen Arthur. That's food for thought. I need to process my thought on that one. I'm gonna come back to it. I promise. Let's see. The Falcons are like Circus City and Radio Shack. They're about to go out of business. Here's another hot take. The Saints give up no points through the first 4 games of the season. Barbara, for the very first time, you've been following this show for a very long time, and I appreciate that. But we're about to completely and utterly ingratiate you into this show, because you're about to get, for the first time ever, a big hell no to the no, hell to the no. Welcome to the team. Nah, look, do I think the defense is going to be good? Yes. But to be shutting everybody out, I don't know about that one, Barbara. But I like the energy, though. I like that energy, I like the energy. But back to Keen Arthur's question. Look, I do think that Sean Payton has a level of arrogance about himself. I do feel like he has this tendency to believe that he can turn chicken-ish into chicken salad, right? And he can make anybody, right? He can make anybody over, right? He's the greatest, he's the greatest fixer-upper that you ever going to see. I do feel like he feels that way about himself. But you have to think about this too, man. It's not only his job on the line. It's the general managers. It's the scouting team. It's the front office as a whole, as a staff, organization, and mother-loving crew. They are a collective unit. So Mickey Loomis don't want to get fired. He understands that if he doesn't put adequate talent on the field, then the Saints aren't going to be successful, which means that he is going to get kicked out of the organization. So I do think that it was kind of a combination. I think they kind of took both of them kind of took each other for granted. I think Mickey Loomis took Sean for granted, at times. Or I won't say he took him for granted, but what's the word I'm looking for? I think they kind of utilized each other's strengths and kind of just like, okay, man, Sean is good at developing talent. I ain't got to spend so much money on trying to acquire this talent. You don't have that luxury anymore. You don't have that luxury. You don't have the luxury of saying, oh, I got a coach that can make a guy like Kevin White hit the field because he can do this, that, and the third, even though Kevin White has done absolutely nothing but catch a deep pass down the field against Tampa Bay. And that seems like that was 4 scores and 7 years ago. But anyway, I think that he doesn't have that luxury anymore. So you have to go out here and you got to get talent because you don't have a coach that you know about. Look, regardless to what you think about Sean Payton, he has enough skins on the wall for you to say, hey, this guy is pretty good at coaching. I can trust this guy. So when Sean walks into the room and says, you know what, if you draft this guy right here, I can do this with him. and he can be pretty good. And we can use him in this situation, and this, that, and the third. He won a Super Bowl. He's won more games as a head coach than any other head coach in Saints history. He's done all these amazing things. So you're going to take his thoughts into consideration. So I think that Sean developed the level of cachet that Dennis has not done yet. Now, if Dennis goes out here and he wins a championship, Super Bowl, something like that, then I feel like then he's probably going to be more part of the selection process. I don't think that Dennis Allen just out here like, Mickey, I need him, and him. I don't feel like that. Maybe, I'm pretty sure they're taking his feelings into consideration, but not as strongly as Sean's. So, and as far as like, I don't think that he just out here just wanting scrub talent. I just think that Mickey was like, okay, I can save a couple of dollars because Sean gonna make it work. So that's the way I look at it. Keep up the hype. Our Saints will roast NFL teams. We got a chance to sweep the division with a broom. Ethan, yeah, I believe that. I believe we got a chance. I think this is a really good team. And if they build off what they actually had defensively last year, and then you get a little bit better, who knows? Show support for our podcast and let's hit the like button. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. If you hit the like button, I would really, really appreciate that. Casual Deck said this has to be the best stacked roster. Yeah, this is a really stacked roster. This is stacked, right? It's kind of hard for me to get. It's hard for me not to get excited about it, but I kind of reserve my excitement because I just know that sometimes looking good on paper ain't good enough. So I do want them to do well, but I also want to kind of put this thing into perspective, and I want to see this thing actually come together in front of my very eyes. All right. Hoodie Jube, thank you, man, for being here. Says who that TJ. Thank you, Hoodie Jube. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I know Hoodie Jube is about to go live at midnight. If I'm not mistaken, or he probably live now. I'm not sure, man. Well, it said midnight, so I want to make sure that I want to say my piece so y'all can get over there to Hoodie Jube, man. What's happening? TJ finally off to catch a live from the beginning instead of watching the replay on Spotify. Damien, I appreciate that, man, and I'm glad that the man finally let you off, man. Hoodie Jube in the building. I'm talking about the reporters still doubling down when the horses in the situation speak directly against what they reported. Yeah, man, that's when you just wear your heart on your sleeve. You're too emotional and you're just too arrogant, man. Like, how are you going to go against the guy that you're talking about, right? It's almost like me saying, I knocked on the door and my mom wasn't home, so therefore, you know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't answer, so therefore she ain't at home. Then my mom like, I was at home. I just didn't hit the door. No, because when I knocked on the door, you didn't answer, so you ain't there. And she waving out the window like, hey, look, hey, it's me. I'm here. Like, kind of sense that make, man. Like, it just, I don't know, man. You got to put that pride to the side. Derek Augustine, man. Shouts out to my guy, man. What's going on, man? Appreciate you for being here. The pride of University of New Orleans, man. UNO, privateer in the building, man. Also, great actor, man. Great actor. You can check him out on All American. Man, this man out here doing things, man. This man out here doing things. I'm telling y'all, man, it's a matter of time for my boy be hitting that stage, winning an Emmy, winning an Oscar. That man on his way, man. He on his way. But he's an incredible actor. And if you check out All American or The Godfather or Harlem, man, he was even in NBA 2K, man. When you play like the story mode, all the mannerisms that your creative player have, that's Derek, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man, been doing some really big things out there in Hollywood, and I'm rooting for him, man. Great guy. Shouts out to my brother right there. Chosen says, I'm ready for this season, not just for the Saints, but for football in general, especially this season, because so many off-season moves that really can alter the whole league. It's exciting. Yeah. NFC, like, as a whole, like, I think that this season you should be excited because it's wide open, man. Look, you don't have too many good quarterbacks in NFC, right? you have it, it's kind of top heavy, and then it's like middle of the pack, right? You got your Brady and you got your Rodgers, and you know what I'm saying? Then there's like kind of a drop off a little bit. Then you fall into the Matt Staffords and the Kirk Cousins, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like kind of wide open. You know what I'm saying? So looking at the NFC, I just don't understand how anybody, when they talk about power rankings, they can just say, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. Y'all know how I feel about that. It's just wide open to me. You know, I feel like any team can come out on top. Any team. Ethan says, who that? I hope the Saints go 17-0 and the Bengals go 16-1. We're the only team to beat them, but that's what I prefer. It will probably not happen. I mean, I like the optimism, but I have to agree with you. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do want the Saints to have a good record, of course. I think we all do. I mean, they ain't got to win every game, you know, but at least win more games than you lose, right? So you can make the playoffs. Hey, TJ, I'm ready for some football, or some Saints football, rather. I can't wait to prove a lot of the national media wrong. Who that? Man, let them boys talk. They don't know what they talking about, and I think it's pretty obvious. When I seen Skip Bayless up here critiquing LeBron James playing in a Drew League, like, come on, man, he up there, he missed a free throw. I'm like, this dude in a gym, this dude in a sweaty, hot-ass gym playing basketball like a pickup game, and this man up here critiquing it like it's game 7 of the NBA Finals. When I seen stuff like that, I'm like, man, get out of my face with this nonsense, man. But anyway, and I'm not even that big of a LeBron fan, but I'm like, give me a freaking break. But look, let them talk, man. That's just the way they do it. It's all about entertainment at the end of the day. It's all about trying to get the ratings. It's always trying to get the needle moving right in the right direction. And that's just what they do, man. So I don't even buy what these people are selling. And I don't think you should too. But I do agree with you. I want to see the Saints have a really good season, not for the media, but for me, God dog it. Because, man, haven't we suffered enough? All these heartbreaking playoff losses, all of these games where the Saints should have won and they lost. I mean, I'm looking at it for me, man. Bump what the media talking about. I'm being selfish right now. I want it for me. I want it for me, God dog it. That's what I want them to win for. Win one for the old Gipper. And by Gipper, I mean me. Piano Dean, thank you very much for the $5. Says, yo, TJ, take it down to the $4.99 store and keep the change. Who that? Question, best po' boys in all of New Orleans. Oh, man. Best po' boys in all of New Orleans goes to, we never freaking closed when I was there. We never closed on Chevman to a highway. Some people probably say Danny and Clyde's. Some people might say their local corner store. Shouts out to Magnolia out there on North Galvin Street. You know what I'm saying? They still out there going strong. Papa Seafood Deli right across the street from Magnolia when I was growing up as a kid. Yeah, they got some places, man. I mean, some of the places I'm going to name, y'all probably haven't been if you ain't living at Almighty 9 or that, you know, you weren't part of the 8th Ward, you know what I'm saying, or 8th Ward, or the 9th Ward, you know, man, 3rd Ward, you know what I'm saying, when I used to go places and work uptown with my grandfather, you know, they had some really good po' boy spots out there as well, but I'm a little bit biased because, you know, I grew up in the 9 and Magnolia was my place, but we never closed on Chevman to a highway. They had the best. They had the best. And that's just my opinion. I mean, somebody else might say some other place. I hear Danny and Clyde's all the time, you know, growing up, but those were my spot. Any corner store we're going to win. TJ, does Taysom still have a Liz Frank injury? Yeah, he's working his way back from that. That takes some time, man. That takes some time to get back. I don't know if you remember, that's what put Davenport out for the season. You remember, like, I don't know, y'all probably do, because it was probably his best game he played as a Saint. It was the game against the Minnesota Vikings. It was when PJ Williams won NFC Player of the Week because he had that pick 6. Davenport, I want to say, had about 2 or 3 sacks in that game. And everybody was like, man, finally, he coming, he turning the corner, finally. Then all of a sudden, he out with a Liz Frank injury for the entire season. So, yeah, that's a serious injury right there, man. That's a serious injury. I want to get into like too many specifics because I don't want to act like I know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm going to try to get Dr. Morris back on the show to help to explain a little bit about something that's going on with that Liz Frank. But it's a very serious injury, man. It's a serious injury. So yes, he is working his way back. Nobody's Grady a podcast says, TJ, what do you think about a 13-4 record for the Saints this year? The move this offseason took them to the next level. Plus, a solid team with solid coaches is the recipe for a Super Bowl. Nobody's Grady, you my guy. And I appreciate the comment, but I seen what you did, and I cannot and will not disclose what I feel like the record is going to be. Okay. That is going to come up in a later date, coming up real soon, the prediction show. So keep it locked. But yes, I'm going to just say this. I want them to have a good record, and we'll just leave it at that. Even though you can go 16-0, you don't even want to go 16-0 in the playoffs. I don't want 16-0. Look, I want 16-0 if that doesn't mean they're going to win a Super Bowl. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to win. That's what I want. I don't care how they do it. I just want them to win. What if Michael Thomas ain't ready? Well, if he ain't ready, do you feel the same way you did last season? I don't. I like Michael Thomas a lot. And yes, he is one talented SOB. But you don't feel the same way. You don't feel like the Saints are just hopeless because he's not ready. You got Jarvis, you got Chris, you got Callaway, you got Deontay Hardy. You got some guys that can actually make some plays. So you're not at the mercy of Thomas watch like you was last year. Like everybody, man, all we got to do is hold it down. Just a couple more weeks. Come on. We looking like we desperate. Like we just spent all our money and we down our last $10 in Vegas and we trying to put it all on black. Oh, come on, baby. Baby need a new pair of shoes. Baby needs some clothes. We don't feel that way now, right? Like we don't have that level of desperation anymore, right? We don't feel that desperate, right? We're not. Come on, Thomas. Come on, man. Come on. Oh boy, y'all seen him walk out the building. He had 2 shoes on. He ain't have no boot on. Like, I'm over that, man. Now we got some guys that can actually make some plays, and I'm happy about that. I think you should be happy about that because you don't feel like we're at the mercy of Michael Thomas and watching every move that he make in order for us to feel content about the Saints having a good season offensively. I'm good with that. I'm happy. And you should be too. I want him to come back, but TJ, you grew up in the Magnolia Projects? No, I did not. Magnolia was a store on North Galvez Street in the Ninth Ward. All right. That's where I grew up at. I grew up around North Galvez, around Florida Avenue, like places like that. Shouts out to all the people from the Ninth Ward area. My grandparents, they had a house on Montague Street as well as North Prior Street, which was probably less than a mile away from the Galvez Bridge. I used to walk up them stairs and walk across that bridge many a days, catch the Almanasta bus, catch the Galvez bus. Yeah, but that area. No, I didn't grow up in a Magnolia Project. I didn't grow up uptown. I did not. Shouts out to everybody that grew up in the Third Ward, but that was not my stomping grounds. The Ninth Ward was my stomping grounds. Press Park area. Yeah, Blockbuster, you know what I'm talking about right here. Press Park, the product right here of George Washington Carver High School. Shouts out to all the Rams that resided over there on 3059 Higgins Boulevard. That's where we was at. Edwards Elementary, right? Carver Middle. Even though I didn't go to Edwards or Carver Middle, I ended up going to Hansberry, and I went to Charles J. Colton on St. Claude Street for middle school. But yeah, shouts out to everybody, man, that used to stomp those grounds, man. Shouts out to all my people that was over there on the Legion Fields. Over there by, by the pink place, by the pink store, Oh, yeah. That's also jeans. Jeans. If you know what jeans I'm talking about, jeans, you can't miss it. It was a big pink Pepto-Bismol building. Like, it looked like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. That's what it looked like. And it was right off St. Claude and Elysian Fields, right across the street from the Walgreens. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You're a real New Orleans resider. You know what jeans is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about, like, I'll take that back. Everybody know what jeans at now. Jeans was like a staple. I know it's not there anymore. But I mean, I think even Beyonce and Jay-Z ate that one time. But that was the place. Jeans. Yeah, we talk about everything on this show, folks. We don't just talk about football. I answer any questions or comments people have. So whatever direction this show goes in, hey, I'm ready for the revival of the New Orleans Saints offense. Yeah, look, they need it, right? It's been dead for a long time, all right? You know, like that revival is necessary. Hopefully, it pans out the way that we feel like it will. We would leave the skating rink and go straight to We Never Close. Oh man, that was a life there. We Never Close wasn't a place that I normally would go to. It normally would have to be rest in peace, my uncle Sherman. He stayed out there off Chevron Tour Highway, and I can remember like, if I was to ride with my uncle Bill, uh, that's both of these guys were my grandfather's brothers. And if I was to go visit my uncle Sherman, then my uncle Bill, after he would leave, me, him, and my cousin Darren would go to We Never Close. But but they had like the best po' boys I ever had, man, in my life, right there. So yeah, that's good memories right there. TJ, I bet we beat Atlanta by at least 2 TDs. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. But hey, who knows, man? I mean, it's funny because it's every year there are teams that we think gonna stink and they end up being good, and then there are teams that we think gonna be good, they stink. So I can't just say that the Falcons are gonna stink. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Let's see, Kendall and Metropolitan, baby. Yeah, man. Shouts out to you, Block, but that boy there was in the heart of it. Hi, Hoodie, who that? Shouts out to Lori. Jamal says, I went to Carver too, class of 99. Oh man, shouts out to you, Jamal. Yeah, I'm class of 2000 and I think about this, 2004. Been a minute. Yeah, I graduated in 2004 from Carver, man. Shouts out to all the Carver Rams out there. Blockbuster said Capdo and Kennedy. Yeah, man. Look, I got love for Capdo, man. Shouts out to Capdo over there on Franklin Avenue and Kennedy over there around City Park. Shouts out to all them boys out there, man. Man, I know Capdo really, really well. Honestly, I was supposed to go to Capdo, to be honest with you, because I was actually in the district. But what happened was my mom, she just never took us out of Colton. But I was closer to Capdo than I was to Colton because at the time, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Blockbuster. Maybe you do. But if you know where that place where they make the parade floats at, that was off Franklin Avenue, I stayed like right behind there, like with Sewage and Waterboard at. There, I stayed like I could, if I was to go outside my gate and look to the left, I could see Sewage and Waterboard. So like I should have went to Capdo. But I end up going to Colton instead. So the hot sauce at jeans hit different at 2 in the morning. It had to. It had to hit different at 2 in the morning if you up in there. Gotta sober you up. Hoodie Juice said, TJ, put on your calendar March or April 2023. I'm going to have an event for kids with special needs. Water slides, inflatable snowballs, food, etc. Anybody come, maybe you can bring your family down. Man, that would be absolutely great. Look, as we start to kind of pull back the reins a little bit with some of these restrictions with COVID, I plan on doing some traveling. I just had this conversation with my wife. I said, man, I want to do a little bit more traveling. I've been at home for I don't know how long. And like when you come used to a certain way of life, you kind of get complacent. That's kind of how I feel, man. I don't feel like I won't go anywhere. I never felt like that. Like I always been a get up and go type person. Like I don't want to lose that side of myself. So I definitely want to do some traveling. Y'all definitely gonna be seeing me more often, you know what I'm saying, throughout the city. I plan on be doing some traveling, and hopefully I get to do hopefully I am gonna be doing some traveling to come to some of the games down there this season. I mean, you can bank on that. We're gonna be doing State of the Saints podcast from New Orleans real soon. TJ, have you ever been TL to a spot called Wags? No, I haven't. I haven't. I haven't. I haven't been there, Keno, to be honest. Man Shoes had the best chicken. I definitely agree with that. That goes without saying. Um, TJ, do you remember Anita's? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I definitely remember that. I only ate there maybe like once or twice, but I know a lot of people like I know a lot of people used to like eating them. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. Oh, got 132 people watching this right now. I ask that you hit the like button, man. If you enjoy the content, please hit the like button. Help the show grow. Ethan says, I don't think Taysom Hill will play until like week 8 or 12 because of his injury. And it says it takes about a year for that to heal completely. Ethan, I agree with you, but the way Taysom plays, it won't affect him as much as it did with Davenport. Because if you're a defensive lineman, you get down in a 3-point stance, you coming off your heel, you know what I'm saying? And all that impact, like when they say height, all that impact, is going from like when your calves at, shooting down to your legs, in order for you to explode, like off that line. So it's a little bit different from him. You like the thing about it is you can run, you can do some of these things, but lining up like Davenport would or Jordan would, it will affect you more than what Taysom. I mean, it's not going to mess with your speed that much. It's not going to like really affect you in that regard. It's more so like when you're lining up and like you coming off the line, like all that pressure, like it's amazing. You exploding off the line, so it affects that. But I do feel that he's going to end up playing. He probably won't start the season. I agree with you, but I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't. I got my training camp tickets. I'm ready to see the Honey Badger and the black and gold. Tech Hollywood, yeah. I think we're all excited about that. It's good to see some familiar guys that that can ball out, that can play. And Honey Badger is one of those guys, man. You got to be excited about that. Shout out to the 7 Ward and the East. I went to Osborne and Parkview. Also, Melba's on the Legion Field have the best po' boys too. Yeah, I mean, Melba's is pretty good too. It's crazy. I used to actually go to Derek when I was because I actually used to go to UNO Upward Bound when I was there, man. I used to go to Upward Bound, and I used to, when I was like had to go to a bus stop or something like that, or I wanted to I probably had to end up walking, to catch the bus or something like that. But I always like would go to Melba's. I went to Melba's like quite a bit. Like if I had like friends and we just didn't want to go home right after we leave UNO Upward Bound, we'll probably get together and go there. But yeah, man, that is a good place. But yeah, man, they got some good. Like a lot of people, here's the thing. Tourists, they think they be getting a real New Orleans experience. I mean, look, the food is good. Don't get me wrong. They go to these nice restaurants. They good. But a lot of that stuff is just dim lighting and feng shui, right? I understand, like, the presentation of some of these corner stores are not, as beautiful as you would get from Emeralds or some of these other places, Copeland's. But at the same time, the food be good, okay? And if you ain't got no grease coming through no bag, grease coming through the white paper of a po' boy, you ain't eating, man. I'm sorry. All right. There's some things that olive oil, like olive oil and canola oil, and some of this vegetable that they have out here. I understand you try to eat good and clean, but look, man, sometimes you need to get that Crisco out. Sometimes you need to get that. You need to get that, man. You need to get that seasoning out. That thing needs to be leaking through the bag. If it's not leaking through the bag, sometimes it ain't good, bro. Sometimes you need to see your bag leaking the dude that you about to eat. If I don't bite into that po' boy, and I ain't got a guapa mayonnaise on the side of my mouth, I ain't eating, dog. Like that ain't good eating. Dog. If you bite into a big po' boy, right, and you ain't got shreds of lettuce and mayonnaise on the side of your mouth, you ain't go to a good place that serves po' boy. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You might thought that you was eating some good po' boys, but you were not. I want to see how our secondary is going to look when we go to training camp. I do too, man. But isn't it crazy, Reginald? Like normally every single year, we're like, man, I wonder what the secondary gonna do. Man, I wonder what the secondary gonna do. But it's not because they're not good. We know that this secondary can be good. It's because we're so excited to see them. It was the other way around a couple of years ago. Man, it was like, oh my goodness, man. It's like, man, you were just wondering, can the secondary do anything right? Them boys couldn't stop traffic, man. God goodness, they were terrible. But it's good to have this type of optimism because you want to see how good they can be because of how good they were last year. Ethan says, do you think Alvin Kamara will also be suspended like Yamato was in 2020, halfway through the season because the Saints are screwed? If they don't have Kamara, since you got to have a run game, kind of. Ethan, kind of. Nah, you need a running game. But I will say this. It's funny you mentioned this because there's a guy right now that's possibly facing suspension. And last time I heard, they said that it's more going to be around 4 to 8 games. And I'm talking about Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson getting 4 to 8 games, then Alvin Kamara should serve no more than 2 games, right? Because as messed up as that situation was, and yes, they did stomp a mud hole in that guy and walked him dry. But if they go to court and everything pans out, which we all hoping that it will, he shouldn't serve no more than 2 games suspension because, man, you can't do that. I would really question the NFL if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for like 4 games and then Alvin gets suspended for like 6. I would really question the NFL. I would really question that. So they better be very, very careful because I'm pretty sure teams are going to be looking at this and they're going to be evaluating the decisions that the NFL made very, very closely. So they better tread softly. Anybody ever had chicken box on Shelby to a highway? Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not only on Shelby to a highway, but off Legion Fields and Gentilly Boulevard, man. Come on, man. Right over there, where they used to have the Auto Zone at. They used to have that Dollar General at. And I want to say they had it's right down the street from Burger Orleans. I know that because my freshman year, I went to Dillard. And I used to go to Chicken Box. And if you look, I'm talking about my old school people out here right now. I'm talking to y'all right now. I'm talking about 2000 lean with it, rock with it type folk. You know what I'm saying? When you was probably growing up as a teenager, when you used to go to Chicken Box, I know I wasn't the only one. They had so much grease in that box that when you pick the box up, it would break. Like seriously, the chicken will bleed through the box. And then that was the time when used to have that, they used to inject steroids into the chicken. When you used to get that big old huge leg, big old brontosaurus thigh, and you used to go to Chicken Box. That chicken was so greasy. It was good. Don't get me wrong. It was good. Okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have hypertension to this day because of eating that Chicken Box chicken. But the chicken was so greasy, it used to bleed through the box. Like if you would and this was during the time when you can get a 20 piece. You know what I'm saying? You get a 20 piece, man, spend about 10 hours. All right. So you get that 20 piece. And I'm talking about that, man. They used to have to give you actual plastic bags for the box. You know what I'm saying? Not like paper bags, because it would bleed through the box and bleed through the bag. That chicken was greasy, but damn, was it delicious. It was delicious. Roger, thank you very much for the $2. Says you still get down with man shoes. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Last couple of times I went down to the city, I always go to Cajun Seafood on Claiborne. These are my spots. I mentioned this before. Cajun Seafood on Claiborne. Magnolia, because I always gotta, you know what I'm saying, go back there. Because man, I knew those owners since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes always showed me love. Shouts out to Big Mike, Big Rob. I think they I don't think they there anymore. I think their kids kind of took over, but I always go to those spots. I always go to the hood. You always gonna catch me in the hood around Florida Avenue, rolling down Louisa Street. That's where you're gonna check. That's where you're gonna catch me at. Like you ain't about to. You'll catch me downtown, because more than likely, you know, I'll probably be with somebody like, you know, like my wife or something like that. You know, she wanna, you know, get the whole tourist experience and stuff like that, being down New Orleans. But look, man, I'm always gonna go to the hood. I'm always gonna go to the hood. I'm always gonna be on Louisa. I'm always gonna be on Florida. Like I'm gonna be places like that, because that's what I knew. That's what I grew up. And they also have all the things that I love growing up. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna be able to get some Elma Chiwis. I'm always gonna get a big shot pineapple. You know, I mean, I'll be looking forward to that type of stuff. You know. And always gonna get a bucket of hot sausages too. Every time I go home, I get a bucket of hot sausages. I get a bucket, and sometimes I get like 2 or 3. You know, my wife don't understand. She's like, it's not good." Like, shut your mouth. More for me. Well, when she told me that when she tastes hot sauce for the first time, like, okay, so I was finally able to get my hands on some patent bucket of hot sauce, and I was so happy. I was excited. And I was like, I opened them up. I'm like, man, you ain't never gonna taste nothing like this in your life. In your life. And she was like, okay. So she tasted it. She like, it's all right. It's all right. It was like telling a young kid Santa Claus wasn't real. I'm telling you, man, I was like, I took that personal. Like Michael just said, I took it personal. Like, he gonna disrespect the almighty patent hot sausages like that. That's some good eating right there, man. You got to get the patties, and you got to get the links. Now, with the patties, I get the box. Let me see if we have some Saints questions. Everybody reminiscing, telling their old war poor boy stories. Telling old war stories about poor boys sitting on the porch, eating poor boys, eating out. Look, everybody. This one, you know, we're from New Orleans right here. I'm about, look, this the quiz right here. This the ultimate question. When you get a po' boy, what color is the paper? Leave it in the chat. What color is the paper? When you unwrap the hot sausages, what color is the paper? Where my New Orleans people at? That's when you know you can get a po' boy right there. There you go. White. Shouts out to Greg. You know what talking about. White. Exactly. White paper. Sound like Brother Chicken with all that grease. Yeah, man. But that was some good eating, though, man. We can't lie about that. We can laugh about it now, but we're tearing that thing up. Shit, you saying old school, TJ. I came up when we had paper food stamps. Man, what you talking about? Damn it, me too. Right on Louisa Street, they used to have that orange building, and everybody from the hood used to go there and stand in line and get their book of food stamps. I'm telling you, man, it looked like a parade out in that thing. Yeah. I mean, you used to have a brown food stamp for the $1. You used to have the orange food stamp, the green food stamp. Man, come on, man. Like, shoot, what you talking about? We ain't always been as blessed as we are today, right? Shoot, I remember about them book of food stamps for real. I'm going home for my aunt's funeral at the end of the month. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences to you and your family. I have my list for hot sauces at Delaware. Ooh, hit it with the Delaware punch. God, no. Yes, sir. Delaware punch. Yes, sir. Damn, food stamps was really man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chose, I forgot, man. You just jumped off the porch, man. I forgot you just jumped off the porch, man. But yeah, they used to come in the form of books, man. Like it used to come like a little book, and almost like if you ever had like one of those little flip books, and inside there, you know what I'm saying? You tear, like when you go to the store, tear the food stamp off, give it to the person. You know what I'm saying? Give it to the cashier. Yeah. Yes, sir. Come on, man. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But I mean, but I think what the Louisiana Purchase started like circling around 2000, maybe 99. Probably a little bit earlier than that. I'm not sure, man. That's when they started getting the card, with the Louisiana Purchase card. Damn, I missed that round hot sauce patties. Someone help me. So Derek, you ain't lying, man. Hey, when you get a hot sausage plug, man, you hold on to that. But yeah, man. I don't know, man. They got some places around there that you can order, but man, the price is too outrageous. Like I remember one time, man, I paid. This is how desperate I was. I paid $50 for one of them little small bucket of hot sausages, and it wasn't because of the price of the hot sausage. It was the shipping and handling. I'm like, man, at least if I'm gonna be paying that type of money, at least give me the big bucket. But yeah, that's why you got to stack up, Derek, when you go home. you gotta find that hot sausage plug, man. You gotta call home. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell them what's up, man. Tell them I need tell them what you need. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they can drop that thing in some dry ice, you know what I'm saying? And get it mailed to you. Give you a little hot sausage care package. Nicholas, thank you very much for $5. Says, do you think Taylor is going to start at some point this year? I know Adebo had a good rookie season, but Allen talked so big about Taylor. Well, I think they both gonna start. Look, the Saints have different packages, right? They have different packages. Guys kind of just rotate, you know what I'm saying, defensively. So I think he's gonna be a part of the starting rotation. I mean, just because he ain't out there as soon as they run on the field for the first time, don't mean that he not gonna play. I think he's gonna be in the starting rotation. I mean, it would surprise me. I would be highly surprised if Alontae Taylor doesn't start. Paper food stamps, man. That's way back. Yes, sir. I hit you for the back with food stamps. Later, TJ. I'm going live. Talk to you later. And great show like always. Hoodie Jude, thank you, man. Appreciate that. I'm about to wrap it up anyway, man. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. We'll take a few more comments, then we're going to go ahead and roll up out of here, man. Let y'all get to Hoodie Jude. Let's see. You could get patent hot sausages from Amazon. Boy, don't tell me that. Bianca, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that I'll be broke. I'll be broke. My wife, man. Yeah, come back one day, open up the garage, and we got a deep freezer out full of hot sausages. Yeah, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that, Bianca. I'd have messed around and spent. I'll be spending way too much money. Blockbuster said too expensive. I could. Yeah, I would believe so. There's only a few places that actually have patent hot sausages. I mean, Louisiana, I think some parts of Texas. When I lived in Dallas, there was one store that actually sold them. It was Fiesta. And if you're in Dallas and you've never been there and you want some patent hot sausages, that's where you go. You go to Fiesta. They got a Fiesta almost on every corner. And that's one thing I do miss about living in Dallas was Fiesta. Fiesta was a supermarket. It mostly sold items that individuals can get, like when they were in Mexico, So it got a lot of Mexican name stuff, and they just so happen to have some patent hot sausages in there. But it's a nice store, man. It's always clean. The people always nice. You know what I'm saying? And Some of that, man, like if you're in Texas, man, some of that food they be selling Fiesta, man, that stuff be bomb. I'm telling you, man. You want like some real like organic like food and stuff like that, man. Some of that stuff is like really good. So you might want to check that out. Fiesta is like Piggly Wiggly or Win Dixie. Yep, absolutely. It's the same way. Okay, Fiesta, they have them in Houston. That I did not know. But I've only been in Houston a handful of times. I used to like go down there. At a time when I was like a long time ago, I dated a girl. She went to Prairie View. So when we used to go down there, we used to drive to Houston, which ain't that far from Prairie View. And but that was like I only went there like a handful of times. So yeah, but Fiesta, they have some really good food there. Atlanta got Patton. They do? Where they sell them at, there? Because I'm not that far from Atlanta. I'm probably about 5 and some change away from Atlanta, out here in Myrtle Beach. So yeah, I can make that trip. I'm not just gonna go down there for some hot sides. I gotta go down there, have a good time too. But yeah, it's not that bad. I miss Blockbuster used to keep their game for longer than 5 days. I don't think there's a human being in this chat that if you were growing up with a Blockbuster was kind and rewind or brought a new release back the very next day. I don't think anybody did that. But those were the times right there. It used to be our hangout spot out there on the Legion Fields in Gentilly. Shouts out to my big brother EJ and his best friend Big Drum. Shouts out to Big Drum. Man, we used to go there. Drum used to get his mom's blue Astro van, and we used to drive to Blockbuster. It just walk around, hang out in there, then buy a damn thing. We just hung out in there. That was it. That was like our hangout spot, man. But I used to enjoy that, man. Those were the times right here. This is what I like about this show. We can talk about Saints and we can reminisce about the city, and that's what I can appreciate. Keynote, thank you very much for the $5. Says gotta get pecan candy too. High size paper be white till grease turn it orange. TJ, you like crawfish bisque? Yeah, man, do I? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. As far as like, hey, we call it when people call it pecan, we call it pecan, a plyrine. Okay. Oh man. I remember my brother gonna kill me. But I remember this girl that used to stay down the street from us. She used to sell plyrines, man, door to door. And man, them plyrines used to be good. Like she went to a Catholic school, and she used to sell them to get her tuition or whatever like that. But my brother was like real like friends with her. They was like friends since kindergarten. So he used to always get us free plyrines. So shouts out to my brother. I'm not gonna say which one it was, but the one that's watching, if they gonna know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say which brother it was, but yeah, those plyrines that he used to be able to get them for free for us. So yeah, but shouts out, man, those plyrines should be good too. And my mom too, man. Like now my mom, she can make some good plyrine. Like seriously, my mom can make some good plyrine, and she only make them around Christmas time, and they be so good that people order them. Like they'll order them like for Thanksgiving or something. I want to get some of your plyrines for Christmas. Man, bro, I'm telling you, my mom making them plyrines, man, and she make them in her own little special way, man. She add a little extra ingredients in there. Tell you, man, that's some good eating right there. Cajun Meat Company. Yeah, okay. VIP New Orleans Seafood. Hey TJ, that hot sausage be fire and them red beans and gumbo. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, shouts out to everybody that's making them red beans from scratch and not just buying cans of Blue Runner. I mean, I think people that be buying Blue Runner, they be cheating. All right. Shouts out to all the people that's making them things from scratch. Let's go back up. Ethan says, I have on my predictions that it's going to be the Texans, Bears, or Falcons and Giants are going to be the laughingstock of the NFL. This year's worst record, 4-13 or under for all four teams. I think the Giants going to end up being better than you think. And I think the Texans going to make the playoffs. I'm going to just be serious. All seriousness. I like Lovie Smith. I think the quarterback for the Texans, Mr. Lone Neck himself, you know what I'm saying? I think that he's really good. I think there's a reason why they were more comfortable at trading Deshaun Watson. They got some talent, man. So I think the Texans might be better, man, than you think. I mean, they shocked a lot of teams, man. They beat up on the Chargers. They got some talent, man. So I'm not going to just say that they going to stink it up. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then I got a root for Derek Stingley now. I got a root for Stingley. TJ, I think that opening game is a game for Jameis to come out and light Atlanta up 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, and one of his touchdowns is a 60-yard bomb to Olave. You know what, King Arthur? To be honest with you, Jameis plays his best game against the Falcons, like throughout his career. Like he balls out against them. So, I expect for him to play well, and you have all these offensive weapons around you. He'll be able to put up some yards, but I don't want to see him like just throwing the ball all over the place. Now, if it's like 300 yards and you have a good balanced attack, or, the game a little nip and tuck and you need to throw the ball to kind of, pull away from the opposition, fine. But I want the Saints to have a balanced attack. I don't think I'm on board with, just because they got all that talent at the wide receiver position, they need to be throwing the ball all over the place. Hey, TJ, is it possible Lutz can get back to the Pro Bowl form, or is it possible that injury can be a problem? Your thoughts? I don't think it's going to be a problem. Will Lutz did the right thing, sitting out the entire season, getting that surgery and getting himself back. I expect Will Lutz to be back, and he definitely needs to be in top form. I do not want to see what I seen last season. And also, it just tells you how important the kicker position is. I mean, we take those guys for granted. And they miss a field goal or two, but watching guys just whiff a field goal after field goal, stink it up. I mean, it makes you appreciate good field goal kicking. Like the Baltimore Ravens got to be the luckiest team in the NFL. I mean, soon as Justin Tucker get out there, is a guaranteed 3 points, a guaranteed extra point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to have that type of weapon. 2 more, and then we'll get out of here. Lovie Smith coached a team to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman at quarterback. Exactly. That says a lot about him as a coach. And I just like him as a human being. I'm always going to be rooting for Lovie Smith. Hey, TJ, do you have any plans on going to any Saints games this year? If so, which ones? I'm not sure about which ones I'm going to go to, but I plan on going to some games. Some of the, like I know, what I'm saying, I'm gonna go to the game. I know I'm going to Carolina. I know when they play Carolina, because I'm 3 hours away. So I'm going to Bank of America Stadium. And I know I'm gonna go to a couple games in New Orleans as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'll let you know which ones I'm gonna go to. But I definitely plan on doing some traveling, man, and going out there to some of those games. I'm definitely gonna be doing that. So I'll let you know which ones. All that, I have to make sure that my wife is on board and stuff like that. Because if I'm traveling, it's just us down here, just me and her. You don't have like, some of the luxuries like some people can have, some in-laws and family members. It's just us. So my schedule kind of has to like, work alongside hers in order for us to have, adequate care for my son. So I'll let you know. TJ, I am from around Franklin Avenue, St. Claude area on Port Street behind the store. Okay, man. Yeah, I know exactly what you talking. Yeah, know exactly what you talking about. If you around there, Port Street, man, that wasn't that far from where my mom used to work at. She used to work at alternative school out there, East New Orleans. It was like right across the street from that McDonald's. That's not that far at all. Not that far at all, Port Street. Matter of fact, Man, one of my good friends from elementary school used to stay out there around Port Street. Yep. Yeah, man. Shouts out to my boy Sam Wiley, man. If he watching this show, that's my guy right there. He would be a great backup, one just in case. And the corner of North Romans and Port, man, y'all boys taking the brother back with these. Know exactly what you're talking about right there, man. Y'all boy right down the street from Caden. But man, this was fun. This was fun. Not only did we talk about football, but we took a trip down memory lane, and that's what this show is all about. We're a very interactive show, and we talk about anything. You put it in the comments, we'll talk about it. But this is the State of the Saints podcast, and thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. We're also available at facebook.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast, and previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. And also want to thank the fine folks at manscaped.com. Yes, manscaped.com has taken over for the third. Well, is it the third? Yeah, this will be the third season. Third season of Manscaped will be working with the State of the Saints podcast. So thank you to Manscaped for allowing State of the Saints podcast to be a part of it, be under their umbrella for another year as a sponsor. And shouts out to them. You go use the promo code State of Saints. You'll save 20% off of your purchase. We're going to be doing some giveaways for Manscaped leading up into the season. I got some stuff right here. Okay, we got some. See what we got here. This is a weed whacker. You know what I'm saying? A electric nose and ear and hair trimmer. We're going to be giving this away. We're also going to be giving away the Ultra Smooth package here from Manscaped. Okay, this Ultra Smooth package, it comes with some shower gel, some shaving gel, and also a razor, you know what I'm saying, to get yourself straight. So these things are going to be given away throughout the season. So keep it locked right here to the State of the Saints podcast. And also we're going to be giving away some t-shirts as well coming up real soon, man. So keep it locked right here to the State of the Saints podcast, and really do appreciate your time. Till next time, all I got to say is